from Toronto Danforth.
Thank you, Speaker. My question to the Premier. Under the transit funding formula that was put in place by Bill Davis, the province paid 50% of the TTC's operating costs. The Davis funding formula helped make the TTC the envy of the world. The Progressive Conservative government cut that funding in 1998, and the funding has stayed cut under the Liberal government. Instead, the government has offered indirect funding with the gas tax at a fraction of the previous funding. Will the Premier help make the TTC the envy of the world again? Will she restore the TTC operating funding as proposed by the NDP?
Minister of Transportation.
Minister of Transportation.
Thanks very much, Speaker. I thank the member from Toronto Danforth for the question. I think that member will know that at the current time, our government is investing more in public transit in the City of Toronto, in the 416, than in any other government in provincial history, Speaker. He cited in his question that not that many weeks ago, the Premier announced that over the next 4 years, we'll be doubling the amount of gas tax money that cities like Toronto receive. Speaker, that means for the City of Toronto an estimated additional $170 million rolled out by 2022 per year. That will bring their total to, of course, roughly $340 million. Speaker, that's on top of the literally billions of dollars that we are currently investing, again, more than any other government in Ontario history, in the expansion of transit in the City of Toronto, in the 905 communities around Toronto, Speaker, and in the 99 communities across Ontario that are eligible to receive gas tax funding. Thanks very much, Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Well, Speaker, it's great for ribbon cutting, but it's real tough when you're in an un-air-conditioned subway car in the middle of summer. Under the province's traditional 50-50 funding formula, the TTC and Wheel-Trans would have received about $345 million in direct provincial funding based on Toronto's most recently passed budget. With this level of provincial funding, the TTC could improve service, boost ridership, and give people another good reason to leave their car at home. Provincial funding for transit operations would allow for fare integration across the GTA. It would allow us to avoid the Metrolinx proposal to charge people from Etobicoke and Scarborough for the distance that they travel. Will the Premier restore direct provincial funding for TTC operations as the NDP has proposed?
Thank you. Minister.
Thanks very much, Speaker. So, as I mentioned in my first answer, as we are standing here today, this provincial government, under the leadership of Premier Wynne, is investing billions of dollars in the City of Toronto alone, Speaker. For example, $3.7 billion in the 416 for GO Regional Express Rail, $416 million for the Toronto streetcars, Speaker, $870 million for the Spadina subway extension, $5.3 billion for the Eglinton Crosstown, single largest construction project, transit construction project in Ontario history, Speaker. But interestingly, from my perspective as Minister of Transportation, Speaker, is that when Andrea Horwath, the leader of the NDP, talked about providing support for the City of Toronto's transit, she was completely silent about the transit needs of every other community across the province of Ontario, Speaker. That's why our initiative doubles gas tax money for nearly 100 communities in every corner of this province. That's transit leadership. That's getting the job done right. Thanks very much, Speaker.